Hello and welcome to the Fish Breeders Show, a discussion of the breeding and raising of tropical freshwater fish. I'm your host, Tim Stanton.
And I'm Jeremy Bosch. And today we're discussing the breeding of Neocaridina heteropoda family. We're discussing the species Neocaridina denticulata sinensis, better known as the red cherry shrimp.
All right. This is the third episode in our series. Previous episodes covered general overview of fish breeding as well as specific spawning techniques for different species. Today, we're going to be talking about red cherry shrimp. Jeremy, why don't you tell us about red cherry shrimp?
Well, red cherry shrimp are actually a color variation of a dwarf shrimp, Neocaridina denticulata sinensis, which hails from southern China, Taiwan, and northern Vietnam. And they've actually been widely introduced into Hawaii, of all places. It's a red variety of shrimp, which was originally bred in Taiwan. The red coloration actually doesn't exist in the wild. I believe the shrimp are black and white, if I'm not mistaken. They kind of like better known as like a bumblebee name is what I remember from the hobby itself. What we get in is
Right.
imports. But the red coloration of the shrimp actually depends on couple different things. I know, for instance, the females in particular, when they're carrying eggs, they'll be even more bright than when they're not carrying. But also mood, water conditions, food can play factors in that. So these guys are pretty neat. Um, Usually after arriving through shipping, they're not going to have much color on their bodies. It just takes them a little bit of time to settle in, just like a fish does. So once they've settled in, the red coloration will return, and they'll return to their red coloration. Also, keep in mind that the females will get more of an intense red versus the males staying more clear, and that young animals take some time to get fully colored. So you don't want to be seen if you're a little individual baby shrimp. You're going to get eaten otherwise. So
That's true. Yeah. One thing that our viewers need to know is red cherry shrimp are known as a high order shrimp. And this means they do not need to go through several planktonic stages of evolution, such as your typical baby brine shrimp or a mono shrimp do, where there is an appealing stage. Then they go through another evolution and then turn into an adult. Um, for red cherry shrimp, because they are high order, once they're hatched from the egg, the red cherry shrimp is identical and has all the features of an adult, but just in a miniature size. Uh, and I should also mention sexting of red cherry shrimp as well. Um, you mentioned earlier that the females are typically brighter and deeper red, and that's very true for just about all varieties of the red cherry shrimps. Uh, the males will have a nearly transparent body with some opaque features, and the females will have a bright red body, and they're slightly larger than the males because they have to carry the
mhm.
eggs under their swimmets. All the shrimps will shed their exoskeletons as they grow, so there'll be times when even the females are a little paler in color, especially when water quality goes down a little bit. If you change that water, you'll watch them brighten up very quickly. It's very cool to see.
And due to their small size, cherry shrimp work really well in small aquariums, uh, in particular with soil or grass substrates. Many aquarists keep these shrimp in micro aquariums along with other shrimp species. You can keep most shrimp species in smaller tanks. For breeding, we recommend a 5 to 10 gallon planted aquarium. They do accept a wide array of temperatures, so you can actually keep them at room temperature, plus or minus a few degrees. Um, Keep in mind any invertebrates are going to be sensitive to any sort of medications, pollutants in the water. So be aware of that while maintaining your tank. Certainly, in a planted aquarium, you have to worry about plants too, but usually the shrimp are going to be the first to go if you do medicate the aquarium. Some liquid fertilizers, such as Excel, will not harm your shrimp. The water itself can be treated with tap water, and there's no need to use RO water for these guys. Some of the nutrients are actually used by the shrimp. In particular, for instance, iodine is used or typically assumed to help shrimp molt. So keep that in mind too.
Yeah, that's a great point. So once you have that 5 or 10 gallon tank established with some plants, and it's been fully cycled. Add a group of 10 or more mixed sex of shrimp. The shrimp will feed on vegetable-based materials. They're not carnivores by any means. Um, and they will, this could be either decaying plant matters off your live plants as they grow. This could also be microorganisms such as algae that grow naturally off of the plants and off your substrate, as well as plant-based food pellets. You can get some fancy ones on the internet that have a lot of micronutrients, things of that nature to help with the development, or you can go with just some straight food right off of your table or from your own refrigerator. Isn't that right, Jeremy?
Yeah, that is right. And another important note here too would be that just like many other species of organisms, decaying plant matter, that's known as detritus. So these guys are, all intents and purposes, these guys are scavengers. They'll pretty much eat anything that they come across, and they'll investigate it. And it's a lot of fun to watch them eat because they are constantly feeding, going throughout the tank. One thing you can do too, you can actually add a slice of zucchini to the aquarium every few days, 2 to 4 days that's peeled and seeded and blanched, and then leave that in the tank for an hour or so until just for them to feed upon. You don't want to leave it in too long because that can start to decay in the aquarium, causing water issues. So weekly water changes are recommended for shrimp and many other species of plant or many other species of fish that we are going to talk about on the show. But small frequent water changes are the key with any fish or any organism.
Yeah, no, it's very true with red cherry shrimp. The zucchini is a great opportunity to put that in the water. They'll find it within about 5 minutes, and you'll have more red cherry shrimp on top of that piece of zucchini than you could thought were in your tank. And it's a great opportunity to see them and observe their behavior for a typically shy and small organism in your aquatic tank. It's very cool to see. The We've also had some success with the micro pellets on for regular feeding, and that's something because of their size and the way they dissolve. You don't need to take them out and monitor it like you would the zucchini. So that's something that for our audience to consider in their own tanks as well.
And when providing a healthy ecosystem, as long as you're doing regular water changes, you should have a healthy ecosystem. It's going to help permit breeding of the shrimp. And shrimp reproduce via eggs, and eggs are produced in the ovaries of the female, which may or may not show up depending on the coloration of the species as a light or dark patch right behind the head area of the female. And after the female molts, the male mates with the female, and they'll be facing each other, depositing a sperm at the opening of the female's genital opening. Shortly after, the eggs migrate from the female's ovaries through her genital opening to the abdomen, actually on the swimmerets of the shrimp. As the eggs pass through the genital opening, they are fertilized by the sperm, and they're deposited that have been deposited there earlier by the male. And then the eggs will be on the swimmerets from there. And then the female carries them around wherever she goes.
Yeah, and it's very obvious to see, even on such a small organism, you'll be able to see those eggs that she carries around with her, and they're very noticeable. And she'll stop every few seconds and move her tail to help circulate fresh water around those eggs to keep them healthy. As they grow in size, they'll become quite noticeable. And after about 30 to 60 days, based on your water conditions such as temperature, water quality, the baby shrimp will hatch and become free swimming. And at that point, they're going to be very tiny. They're going to be like baby brine shrimp swimming around, but they're actually miniature versions of their parents. And again, they don't go through a Napili stage like a baby brine shrimp that you would use for food for your larger fish. They're actually a true shrimp at that point, identical in all characteristics of the parents.
And this is why having an established aquarium is very important. A healthy ecosystem allows the baby cherry shrimp to, dart around kind of like a water flea through the water. And after about 45 days from hatching, they begin to walk around and look like pale miniature shrimp. 60 days after hatching, the shrimp develop color and become sexable. And they're going to be feeding throughout that too. So
Yeah,
You want to make sure you have plenty of food for them.
you do. And really, given some nice water changes and some patience, you're going to have a tank full of red cherry shrimp in the matter of a season. So it's a
Hmm.
great opportunity to have a tank full of red cherry shrimp given a couple months, and for really just having a great opportunity to watch them and enjoy what fun they are to have in your tanks.
Yeah, I've even seen tanks where it's a small tank, like 10 gallons, and there's so many shrimp in there, it's hard to see anything else in the aquarium. I mean, literally a few hundred shrimp in this small tank. So,
Yeah.
um, you have to be careful on water quality when you have that many, but they breed like rabbits once you get them going.
Yeah, they do, and they'll swim and walk over everything, and that's why having plants is really an opportunity to give them, move them around, give them a place to hang out. Bare bottom tanks and raising red cherry shrimp really isn't the preferred method at all. So you can check out all of our episodes at fishbreedershow.tv, fishbreedershow.tv, and enjoy this video of some red cherry shrimp. Thank you very much.
Thanks.